Well, good morning, everyone. We are coming to you from two different locations in the United States. Ryan is in New York, and I'm in the South in Georgia. And our project was about addressing news deserts or areas where news coverage has really collapsed in the last 5 to 10 years in the US by really thinking about how we can create sustainable revenue and subscription growth with local newsrooms, little small ones, as well as news academic partnerships. So just a little bit of background, news academic partnerships on the second slide is an idea that has spread in the United States. There are about 200 of them where students at universities who are getting journalism degrees actually fill in the gaps, whether it's topical or geographic, in order to make sure that people still have good information for a functioning democracy. And so the Oglethorpe Echo here at the University of Georgia is one of those programs. And we partnered with Ryan's product, U.S.A, in order to try to gain some ethical and effective workflow efficiencies so that hopefully we could see revenue and subscription growth moving forward. And Ryan's going to explain the tool to you all.
Yeah, I think initially, I think our initial plan was to kind of give everything capable in this tool, and I think it was hoped to unlock kind of new ways for the Echo to tell stories. And like Dr. Bright says, right, the University of Georgia fills this with students every semester, and hopefully this is going to help them tell their stories. And one of the things we noticed was another pain point that kind of popped up as I learned more about the Echo and the data. We kind of found a new problem set that was described by a student in the spring. Very specifically, this pain point of trying to figure out Oglethorpe County and its sources, right? And I was fortunate enough to be able to visit the Echo in UGA in mid-April as part of a trip to a bunch of other places. And one of the things that spoke to me was on that visit, they shared the paper from that day, and it was Jay Paul, who was one of the Oglethorpe County Board of Commissioners, but it was his grandmother. So that turned my head when I was thinking more about this kind of problem set. Who are the people we're talking to? How do we understand the people that we're talking to? So we kind of found this new problem set partway through and built to that. And it came out, I think, really well. It led to creating a brand new kind of interface here where it's about who gets quoted, right, in this tool for the Oglethorpe Echo. We used a source list that had been built dating back years to when, as Dr. Bright mentioned, UGA and and they took over this paper as a news academic partnership, and be able to use as many stories as Echo has published to figure out who's been quoted, when, how often, and so we can create experiences where somebody can actually get this information and understand who this person is before they go to talk to them for the first time, right? So we had the spring semester class to talk to, and then the fall semester class has been be able to test this and gave some other feedback based on it, which has been really great. And right, a lot of Oglethorpe County relies on the Echo for news, where there are no Wikipedia entries for these sources. The Echo is the authoritative source for them. So a lot of this core information comes from what the Echo's built on over the years, and now a reporter can just click a button and they can have a better understanding before they even talk to one of these sources. They'll get an idea, and we'll be able to use a large language model to help serve them the information, and hopefully summarize it a little bit better so they can get some quick insights. And then one of the things that the fall class wanted, they were very keen on just understanding, hey, can I just search for somebody? And that was something we hadn't thought through. So we just made a very simple box in a few days, and they've been loving it ever since. So the metric that I talk about with Dr. Bright, it's not a real metric, I guess, but it's hopefully this leads to fewer times where she has to say we've done that before to folks in her class. And hopefully this will help students in news academic partnerships create new ideas that build upon existing coverage that the Echo's already offered.
Absolutely. So what Ryan's, kind of pinpointing is that we found we needed to onboard people quickly, both in small local newsrooms in the US and news academic partnerships. There's a lot of churn, there's a lot of change. And so we learned a couple quick key takeaways from these tools. Number one, not all young people like AI, and we had to really kind of work around some of that. Our community, a small rural community, lower socioeconomic class and lower education levels, they were very confused by AI. So we had to do a lot of talking and thinking about how to communicate what we were doing to them. We also, as Ryan mentioned, just coming back again and again to seeing what's working and how it's working was really important for us. On the next slide, a couple other quick takeaways. we found out, particularly in hyper-local news situations, AI is really, really good at passing on institutional knowledge, but it's really, really bad at nuance, particularly like the Southern way of talking, some of the issues that were covered. And so we had to do a lot of work to really fine-tune and pinpoint for our audience and serving them. And then we did a lot of policy work around being careful to show people what AI was doing and what it wasn't, because they were skeptical. And then what we were able to do impact-wise on the last slide, I think is pretty exciting. Because of these efficiencies we created through Ryan's suite of tools, we were able to produce an extra piece of reporting every week, an extra video story every week. And because of those two things, we started a video and social media ad-driven program. We created larger papers and just frankly more coverage, which then allowed us to increase subscribers. You can see the metrics at the bottom. We increased digital ad revenue. We increased our audience across our digital products. And we ended up placing highest in our state competition than we ever had before this year. So pretty pleased with the metrics of impact for the tool, and just freed up so much for us to be able to do better journalism.